Good evening, everyone. I'll give it a minute or two so that everybody can tune in. When the counter is going up, one by one. So fortunately, I'm not talking to myself in this webcast. Hello everyone from UK and Russia. Okay, I think it's time to begin. So, hello again, everyone. Also, hello Yuki-san from Japan. This year, since was it January or February, I started on teachings on knowing awareness, Rigpa, and the three basic qualities of the natural state or Buddha nature. We did that for 4 sessions, and then we did 4 sessions workshopping on bodhicitta, heart mind of enlightenment. And then at this moment I'm not quite sure if I can steadily give webcasts this month of May because I'll be teaching 3 consecutive weekends, and it usually takes the juice out of even a younger person, so I might have to rest in that regard, but hopefully there will be also Tuesday webcasts. And I think that we will have some webcasts anyway in June until for July, and first half of August we'll take a break. Anyway, this session I was thinking of talking about the question of professional yogis or lack of professional yogis in the Western society. Some time ago I came across an article written by a noted Buddhist scholar called Karl Brunhölzl, who is, I think, American gentleman, and he had written a text entitled Wanted, I think it was Wanted Buddhist Professionals or Professional Buddhists, and I copied that text. It was written, I think, 2011 or 2010. I copied to Open Heart blog, my blog, so this text can be found from there. Karl Brunhölzl, like he's one of the translators and scholars of Western Buddhism and Vajrayana Buddhism in the West. And I don't actually remember specifics from that article, but he was discussing the lack of infrastructure in educating Buddhist professionals. And as he's a scholar and he has spent, I have actually no clue whether he has done meditation retreats, practice retreats. I'm sure he has done retreats, but to what extent, I have no idea. But anyway, I know him at least as a scholar of Tantric Buddhism. So his point in that article was that there is lack of support because of unexistence of infrastructure in relation to educating Buddhist professionals in the West. As you know, during the recent centuries or millennia, monastic style of educating has been incorporated with Buddhism, and also so in Tibetan Vajrayana Buddhism. Nowadays, there are so many doctors, geshes, and khenpos who are well and finely educated through this monastic system. But then, if we look at how that system of educating Buddhist professionals, Dharma professionals, fits with West, I think that there are some problems there. I personally do not think that the future of Buddhism is in the West will be as monastic as it's been in the East, in Tibet, in China, in Japan, in many other countries, also Theravada countries. So, West has a history of course we have Christian institution with many different branches of Christian religion that also has monasticism, but well, maybe I shouldn't talk about Christian system, but so Westerners, perhaps the idea of becoming a monastic is quite strange or far-fetched for most people. To some, it clicks. It clicked for me when I was much younger, but then at some point I lost the attraction about becoming a monastic. So Westerners, the Western society in different countries, since we don't have a strong monastic culture in any religion, we are mainly lay people with jobs, families, and many other responsibilities and bills to pay. So when I look at, and at the same time, there is of course need for Dharma, because there is need, everybody is seeking happiness, everybody is seeking contentment, but people are typically looking at it from all kinds of sense pleasures. This is a whole different topic to discuss, but in the West we don't really have a concept that we could seek happiness, which is kind of a vague word for purpose of Dharma, because Dharma is not really for happiness, although to some extent, it affects happiness, but I lost my train of thought. So the point I'm coming to is that in the West, I feel we need to establish training systems that answers to existential questions of Westerners, as well as that it fits their lifestyle, which is lifestyle of lay people. So, and this is a big challenge. I've done some investigation about about this, and for this whole first half of this year, we've been working with Lama Karl on the new financing plan for Open Heart. I hope that I can publish it by the end of this month of May. But I've been investigating and talking with different practitioners and teachers how different Dharma organizations in the West are financed. And so again, I'm talking in the context of professional training, professional yogis, not really scholars or academics or doctors of any form of Buddhism, but yogis who are really solid meditators, adepts of inner yogas, who with the help of yogic practice have shed their self-delusion and their existential confusion to a notable degree, or maybe even completely. So this needs to be established, I feel, in one way or the other. It has been established in the East, in many countries, based on the system of dana, or donations, and many Dharma groups and organizations in the West are also running their activities based on donations, but it seems to me, based on my investigations, that when we talk about training professionals, first of all, it means years of dedicated full-time practice and training. Years. So for that, we need to have centers, teachers, and if teachers have families, bills, centers have bills, all these costs need to be covered. And I think that it is uncertain whether, if the organization is very big and has many members, then I guess it works to financiate it with donations. But also many organizations, Tantric, Vajrayana, Tibetan, of course, organizations in the West are run as businesses. So, and this puts the prices of retreats and teaching events, it raises the prices. So I've even read that, in traditional Tibetan Vajrayana, there are the traditional 3-year retreats that have been part of Tibetan Buddhism for a couple of 100 years and are now sort of like an established part of their training. And some Dharma groups that offer those 3-year retreats in the US, the cost for the practitioner can be $30,000, $40,000, $50,000, even $60,000 for 3-year retreat, to be able to just focus on practice for 3 years. And $30,000, $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 is a huge chunk of money. So I guess fortunately those organizations that for one reason or the other has to put that high price tag to their retreats are rarity. Usually it's significantly less, but even then it puts a lot of financial stress for the practitioner, which in one sense is fine. When we work to facilitate, enable our training, that is of course taking responsibility is good, but I personally think that it would be best if there was some other way of financing Dharma than donations or the business model. Anyway, I will talk about this financing theme in the new financing plan extensively and in detail. Hopefully it will be released later this month. But then I'm talking about the necessity of professional yogis in Western society. So Dharma, Buddhist Dharma, as well as other kinds of spiritual approaches, religious approaches, they, like everything else, go through change. So we can see from history that Buddhism started in India and then blossomed in India for a good period of time until it was lost from there because of Muslim conquerors. And then Buddhism spread to different countries, Tibet, Japan, China, and again the same thing has happened. There has been a starting point, then amazing blossoming, which has many adepts and masters, as in Mahasiddhas, have come out from those circumstances. When the Dharma has been established in the culture and integrated in the society, they achieved so much yogically. And this has been, as we can also see from the history books, this has been immensely beneficial for the societies of those countries. And now, during the last roughly 100 years, Buddhism, different schools, traditions of Buddhism have been transmitted to Western societies, and now I think and I'm sure it has been a key question that many of those teachers and masters who have transmitted the teachings to the West, that they have been concerned whether Dharma and different yogic practices, that this very essence of Dharma whether it will take root or not. So if I talk about this in mundane terms, the question is that whether Buddhism is able to grow professional yogis in the West. So I don't really see that much at the moment. I have many friends and acquaintances who have done extensive meditation training in the East, in different traditions, in Japan, in Tibet, in different Theravada countries, and so on. But then, this full-time training usually takes place in Asia. And maybe I should just say that what I mean by becoming a professional yogi and becoming a professional yogi through doing full-time training is that similarly like when we study any kind of art, be it, for example, singing, playing the piano, learning how to become a doctor or a dentist or a plumber or an electrician, or learning any skill, basically, on a professional level, it requires several years of full-time training. And full-time training means that you mostly in your daily life, you mostly study and practice the art, which for yogis is meditation and meditation related practices. So it is a big challenge, I think, and I'm not really seeing that in the West, that Westerners would have opportunities, even though some might have that motivation, but I'm not seeing much opportunities for that kind of practice. And this is concerning, I think, because all teachings need to be experienced and validated through first-hand experience and insight, emptiness insight. So there's no way to go around that through doing academic study, scholarly study. You can't replace yogic practice with scholarly study. You just cannot. So in the West we also have psychologists and psychotherapists and such who do wonderful work from their own perspective, or in Christian countries such as Finland, where I'm from, we have also priests, but I think I know one priest from Finland who has done some solid meditation training. So, Christian priests, they have their approaches and methods. Psychologists, psychotherapists have their own tools, ways of helping people. But, religion, faith, belief-based religion, also it seems that psychology or psychotherapy, they cannot address the core needs that human beings have the way Dharma and yogas can. And I say that with humbleness. I'm not a psychologist or psychotherapist, neither Christian priests, but this is my simple observation of these applications. So if it somehow happened that in the West, in the culture, not only in open heart sangha, but extensively in Western societies, somehow we managed to come up with a financing system that would allow anyone who was interested in doing retreats, joining retreats for free, joining teachings for free, and also, if needed, even giving them financial help if they had families to support, even perhaps giving them money or providing them accommodation for whole families when one or both of the parents were doing retreats. This would be something, because if we look at people anywhere, if you have done some practice, you can see that people are not only stressed, but they are really seeking a a solution to their sense of being lost and existentially confused. Existential confusion is my translation for dukkha, what is usually translated as suffering in Buddhist sources. So it is intriguing to imagine if this was somehow accomplished, and we could train lay people deeply, thoroughly, full-time training, and get these existential professionals, professional yogis among us, who could then share what they know and teach from their own experience rather than from a text. So that is really something that, well, at least I'm asking Open Heart Sangha members, my students, to think about this and the immense benefits of this, not only to individuals and our people close to us, but the society and all sentient beings in general. So, as I said, later this month we will publish the new financing plan for Open Heart Sangha, as well as publicly, and I hope that this question will be what I presented in this talk, that these issues will be contemplated and thought about by whoever is watching this webcast. We have about an hour or hour and 15 altogether. So now I've been talking about 25 minutes. I think it's enough for talking, and let's go into practice. So this spring we have been working on knowing awareness, Rigpa, as well as bodhicitta practices through mantra visualization and the Dzogchen approach, Dzogchen take of bodhicitta. All these sessions, previous sessions, can be found from Open Heart YouTube channel if you haven't seen them. But I was thinking of practicing Guru Yoga with both Guru Rinpoche, Padmasambhava and Yeshe Tsogyal in this session. So take a good, upright, comfortable posture and forget about meditation or meditative states. Whatever you think meditation is, simply forget those ideas. For the first couple of minutes, simply feel the body, scan through the body and relax. Waves of relaxation sweeping through the body, releasing subtle holding from all muscles. If you are experienced practitioner, you can practice eyes open. If you aren't, you can have eyes closed. You can feel energies better, and probably also helps visualization when eyes are closed. Sensing the body and letting the tissues soften. Like melting. yet. Melting doesn't mean or relaxation doesn't mean going limp, like a limp like this. It means that there is this inner subtle posture. In Finnish we have a word ryhti, sisäinen ryhti. So the body sits upright because the skeletal structure is well aligned. But then soft tissues, there is this sense of melting, relaxing deeply. You can also say that there is a sense of opening from the inside of the body. So as we relax the soft tissues, we become grounded, because with our upright position we sit against the pull of gravity, and the more we relax, the easier it becomes to relax because of gravity. Breathing flowing through the nose. Your mouth can be, teeth and lips can be gently closed or gently open, but breathing through the nose. Also relaxing muscles related to the movement of the breath. And then a quick pointer to the natural state or knowing, rikpa. So you are feeling the softening, relaxation of the tissues of the body. There is a feeling of that. At the basis of this feeling, relaxation, there is knowing of that relaxation. And this knowing is rikpa, knowing awareness, knowing aspect of awareness. Knowing of relaxation of the body, knowing of relaxation of the chest, knowing of relaxation in the head, wherever you might be relaxing. If our mind is processing thoughts, thinking, during thinking there is also knowing of thinking. This basic knowing that comes before the process of thinking. If we have emotion, experience some emotion such as joyfulness or anxiety or fear, any kind of emotion, there is also this basic knowing of the emotion. When we hear a sound, there is knowing of hearing a sound. When we talk with our friend, there is knowing of talking with a friend. It's that simple. This basic knowingness is there, and yet it goes unnoticed. So relax the body a little bit more, a little bit deeper. If you feel like taking a few deep breaths, feel free to do that while knowing the deep breathing. So we have a bit limited time for practice. Actually, we have plenty of time since this session is supposed to last until 8 p.m., but we will finish earlier than that. So usually in open heart yoga practice we do some other techniques in the beginning of the technique, jewel visualization and so on. But I would like to continue to Guru Yoga directly with Guru Rinpoche and Yeshe Tsogyal. But in your home practice, if you use these instructions for Guru Yoga practice, you can also do jewel visualization with 2 jewel bodies, as well as connecting the lower and higher pillars. So, with sincerity, directly and honestly, not hiding anything, I bow in my mind to Guru Rinpoche and Yeshe Tsogyal and seek for their blessings. Dear Guru Rinpoche, dear Yeshe Ma, please hear my call. Come into my body, into my heart, into my aura, into my condition. For the sake of all sentient beings, I'm asking for your blessings. Whatever words you're using for prayer, when you have said the prayer for the liberation of all sentient beings, then be receptive and receive those blessings. You need to feel the presence of these masters with you through your body, through the same tissues you were relaxing just a minute ago. When you put a sponge in water, it will, little by little, it will get soaked. In the same way, the body-mind is like a sponge that can get soaked in blessings. Then we will tweak up, fortify this experience, this charge, a little bit through a certain visualization that is really, really simple. So I'm sure most of you have seen pictures of Guru Rinpoche and Yeshe Tsogyal. If you haven't seen and you are sitting in front of a computer, you can quickly do a search and you can find some pictures. So first, visualize Guru Rinpoche in front of you, sitting in human size, like a male figure. You can see him in the traditional Tibetan clothing or in non-oriental clothing. This shape, figure of Guru Rinpoche, who is a male master. You can visualize long hair, long black hair that he's usually pictured, mustache, sharp eyes, a little bit of beard, sitting in front of you in human size, as if he was actually in human form, weighing 80, 90, 100 kilos, like men, are. And through this visualized image, feel his presence. Again, with your physical body, with your whole being. So you visualize and feel that for a moment, and then, if you want, you can visualize making a bow in front of him, or just having that honesty and sincerity and devotion in one's heart. That's the same thing as bowing. Then you can imagine that he sits on your left side, and with your left hand you take a hold of his right hand. Just imagine that, holding hands with Guru Padmasambhava. Sitting together with him, physically, feeling the blessings, clarity, and pure natural force radiating of him. And then visualize Yeshe Tsogyal, this female figure, the consort and the maid student, a Mahasiddha, on her own right, in front of you, in human size. You can see her dressed in traditional Tibetan clothes or, casual Western clothes, long hair, perhaps a smile, face of Yeshe Tsogyal, female face, female figure, female body. Visualize her in front of you and feel her with you. when you feel a presence of a master such as these two, it's a humbling experience, isn't it? Because they have this immense natural presence to them. So again, if you feel like bowing before Yeshe Tsogyal, yes, do that. Devotion is good. And then Yeshe Tsogyal moves to your right. You join hands. Your right hand, you hold her left hand. Her right hand holds Guru Rinpoche's left hand. So you form a circle. Guru Rinpoche on your left, Yeshe Ma on your right. And then you simply sit together. Holding hands with them. Keep visualizing and feeling this for a few minutes. Enjoy it. We all deserve it. So being receptive and open relaxed, in a state of surrender, as if receiving a massage. You don't have to try to get a massage. You can just receive it and enjoy it. The same thing here. Simply being open and receptive for the presence and blessings, charge of the Gurus. Very, very simple, yet profound. The bedrock, foundation of all tantric practices. Getting soaked in the blessings, in the presence, in the transmission, a mind to mind, heart to heart transmission of the Guru or Gurus. Feeling the charge with your whole body, all muscles, all limbs, in the stomach, in the midsection, in the chest, in the heart, shoulders, arms, palms, fingers, throat, neck, face, head, with your whole body, as well as with your whole energy body that extends beyond the physical body. Simply taking it in with all cells of your body, with your whole being, not restricting or controlling it in any way. Getting soaked. Feeling it in the heart, inside the chest. Also feeling it in the head, in the middle of the head. Behind the eyes. If the visualized image has already dropped off, that is perfectly fine. It is supposed to. If it yet hasn't disappeared, you can let it, you can stop intentionally visualizing it. And simply feel the energy as I was pointing out, knowing, quality at the basis of all sense perceptions in the beginning of our session. During this whole time of Guru Yoga visualization, this basic knowing of visualization, basic knowing of feeling the energetic charge has been there, hasn't it? The same basic knowing, that very basic knowing has been there all along. At the basis of these experiences. And that hasn't and doesn't change. What changes is the depth and expansion of this knowing awareness in the rest of our mind, our being. So, when we receive a blessing, a charge from a guru, it clears out our body. It clears out our aura. So we feel more like ourselves after we practice. And this is the main purpose always of Tantric Guru Yoga. It is to help us practitioners to see our natural condition without all these mind habits and patterns, samsaric conditioning. So now, after the charge of the gurus, it is quite easy to feel, first of all, recognize this basic knowing, and then also recognize the other two characteristics of the natural state, which are aliveness of our being, aliveness of knowing, as well as groundedness of it, stability of it. Knowing, aliveness, and groundedness, all three together. And of course, selflessness, being without self, an entity. Simply feel your condition, your experience right now. Remaining without action, without intention, without concentration, without doing. Being ourselves. when I was pointing out that this knowing, aliveness, groundedness is there at all times during all experiences, such as thinking, feeling emotions, during talking, during when hearing a sound. This basic knowing is also there among activities when we are physically active. It is also there when we sleep, when we dream, and when we sleep deep, dreamless sleep. Can you see that this knowing, aliveness, groundedness is actually like that? It is not something that I or me, the inner entity, can do or make happen. It is this simple presence, simple being. Not being an entity. This simple presence that is pervasive, has no location, is not tied to time or passing of time. That is something really basic, really comfortable, and sane. It's that simple. That's the solution to being existentially lost. Before chanting the concluding prayers, there is a whole set of teachings for understanding what I briefly mentioned, that the knowingness, this basic nature, Buddha nature of ours being present at all times, including physical activity. There's a set of teachings related to understanding this point. But now, from this experience, simply start moving your right hand in any way you like. While being in this soft clarity of the natural state. So when, sometimes when people do sitting meditation, not moving enough their is a duality between still and between moving. But here, now you can move your left hand a little bit, test whether you can physically move from this basic state, or whether the physical movement interrupts it. Obviously, there would be no point if we could only recognize the natural state when we are sitting still. Okay, let's finish by chanting the basic prayers. So you can find these prayers by going to the English version of the Open Heart website, opening Open Heart info, introductory practice, and then at the lower part of the page you can find two versions of refuge, two versions of bodhicitta, and dedication of merit. So we will chant all those prayers. I take refuge in the Guru. I take refuge in his pure land. I take refuge in the Buddha. I take refuge in the Dharma. I take refuge in the Sangha. I take refuge in the Guru. I take refuge in his pure land. I take refuge in the Buddha. I take refuge in the Dharma. I take refuge in the Sangha. I take refuge in the Guru. I take refuge in his pure land. I take refuge in the Buddha. I take refuge in the Dharma. I take refuge in the Sangha. As always, feel the refuge, the energy, the mind of it. I am the Guru. I'm in the pure land. I am the Buddha. I am the Dharma. I am the Sangha. I am the Guru. I'm in the pure land. I am the Buddha. I am Sangha. I am the Guru. I'm in the Pure Land. I am the Buddha. I am the Dharma. I am the Sangha. Relative bodhicitta, may all beings be free 3 times. May all beings be free. May all beings be free. May all beings be free. Actually wishing liberation to all sentient beings within and around us. Actually wishing that. And feeling the meaning of it. And then absolute bodhicitta. All beings are free. All beings are free. All beings are free. All beings are free. And dedication of merit. May all beings receive my accumulated merit. I dedicate the merit to the refuge and to all sentient beings. Then joining hands and make a bow. Often when teaching these sessions, I do remember it on retreats when teaching people in person, live, but I usually forget it in webcasts to say that if you can, lie down for 10 minutes after these sessions. So if you can do that now that we finish the webcast, it will be a nice relaxation of and integration of these energies in your body mind. giving your body a moment before doing other things. So thank you for this session. Actually, next week, next Tuesday, there will not be a webcast since I've just arrived back to Finland from UK, where there are teachings in Birmingham next weekend. Oh, by the way, so if somebody is watching this from UK and is not aware, welcome to Birmingham. This weekend there will be a Open Heart City retreat there. You can find the event information and location prices from the website, from the schedule there. The next weekend in mid-May there will be teachings in Helsinki. Helsinki, a residential 2-day retreat in a nice large villa. There will be people coming from at least 5 different countries have signed up already, but there is still space if somebody wants to join us. And that's actually, I haven't taught in Finland in over a year now, so it will be nice to see. I'm sure Finnish Sangha members are also watching this, so it would be nice to see everyone again. So it would be nice to have as many Finns join as well. And then the last weekend of this month there will be teachings in Moscow, Russia, for the first time. So if somebody is watching from Russia and wasn't aware of this city retreat in Russia from 24th, 25th and 26th, welcome. You can find that event info also from the website. And then in early June there will be again city retreat teachings in Dublin, Ireland. So thank you again. Oh, I usually forget to mention, we still haven't, I was talking about the new financing plan, and it is at this point uncertain whether it will go through. So at the moment we are following a business model. So I would like to kindly remind that if you can make a donation for these joining these sessions, guided practices, will be warmly accepted. You can find bank connection info when you go to Open Heart website, click online services, and you can find a bank connection and PayPal address. So thank you for donations. So I guess see you in 2 weeks. I wish everybody a nice evening, and now take a little rest. Thank you. Bye.